Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
Bwaaa!
Bwaaa trash fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. Dad drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go!
Welcome to a special episode of Bwaaa, K-O-T-H. Welcome to Mason's Mind Meld with your host, Mason and Rusty. Take it away, Mason.
Title pending. It was just I said I apologize. Just this episode brought up, just an idea that's happening a lot. If anyone's paying attention to the news, according to all major news outlets, this past month of January 2023 saw a raise in jobs of 517,000 new jobs were added in the country.
Oh, wow.
Which is a lot.
It's quite a few jobs.
But the problem is, maybe they say this in these articles, but you don't ever see the headlines. Where are these jobs exactly? And we know where they are, but how are we always adding new jobs when just last month, if you remember, Google, Apple, freaking Facebook, Meta, Amazon, all these big tech companies are firing, corporate and tech jobs.
Massive cuts.
Massive cuts, each in the thousands, which sucks. But
absolutely.
But how are we also adding jobs? Again, I'm just an idiot. I'm asking someone to genuinely explain this to me.
Well, I imagine that a lot of the added jobs are going to be the new Taco Bell down the street from where you're at, or the new Starbucks in your neighborhood, or
it's all
for instance, in the area that I live in now, it's an area that has been quote unquote known as a less than mentionable place to live at, but we're getting a Chick-fil-A. Out in Belmead, we're getting a Chick-fil-A now. So
why?
Yeah, even you say why. So that's what I'm
saying.
Got rid of
the
so
damn
that's where the
Whataburger.
Jobs come from. No, they have a new Whataburger. They have a brand new one.
They did rebuild it.
Yeah, so it's all about the jobs that are being created. What jobs are being created?
Yeah, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with working in food or retail. Or anything like that.
Especially Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A actually pays fairer wages, not what would be like the potential minimum wage of what would be a livable income for one person to be able to live on and actually own a home and a car and things like that,
and
like a normal
paycheck to paycheck.
like in the 50s, in the heyday of the middle class, when the middle class, you could go to work for a normal job and still have all these normal experiences, and that's why in that time frame in the 50s you had all these the highway systems being built, and people supporting it, and people using these highway systems and stuff to get to places so they could go and see the United States in a way that there was a higher separation between, poor and rich before this creation of the middle class after World War II in a big way, with what we call consumerism is pretty much what kicked that off, and a revitalization of the economy through the massive consumerism. So, but now massive consumerism has driven us into a weird place in the world where we're discussing things like this.
It's just unfortunate. Sorry, that's really all I had to about that topic. It's just kind of baffling to me. And
Yeah.
'cause-
So,
they
so how
they
do we
pay
relate this to Khan? And in the last episode that we discussed, Khan losing his job.
Yeah, it's just like, what are you supposed when you go from a corporate job like that?
Yeah.
How do you? I mean, and plus,
How do you navigate it?
How do you
Yeah.
navigate?
How do you
Like when
navigate
Fun with
that?
Dick and Jane, he loses his big corporate, high-paying job, and he's struggling because he wants to find something that's in his former field that paid just as good.
And it's harder to do those kinds of things, and
Especially when when in COVID made so many quote unquote, these their words, not mine, redundancies.
yeah.
Well, why would you make? Why are you considering this a redundancy? Why did you make the job in the first place when you knew fully well you were going to axe them at some point?
Axe them. And well, that's because
When you start making as much profits because of COVID.
because it's profits. That's all about. It's just money.
Annoying.
It's all about money. That's all it
You
is.
gotta
It's
love,
the
but you also
almighty
gotta hate
dollar at the end of the day.
capitalism.
Yeah, it's all about the almighty dollar at the end of the day.
Yeah. On a lighter note, this isn't gonna go too long.
Yeah.
But I just figured one important thing we could talk about was speaking of jobs. I don't have a good transition here. Do you remember your first job, Rusty?
Oh, my first job. That's a perfect transition. My first job, my first actual legal tax-paying job would be Bath and Body Works. Believe it or not, is the very first
Bath and Body Works?
official job. I've had a ton of jobs, and I've done a ton of labor kind of stuff, manual labor stuff, as far as building, fixing, construction, those kind of things. I worked for a surfacing company one time. We did countertops all over Texas when I was like 18. I did a plumbing apprenticeship when I was like 18, 19, around that time frame, same time frame. But my first actual, like, hey, here's my social security card, here's my ID, job that I was paying taxes coming up out of my check, because the other jobs were under the table labor, manual labor stuff. So that was Bath and Body Works, the lotion store. So around the seasonal time, they would hire a couple of guys to handle all their freight and stuff in the back.
Oh yeah, I did a freight job a couple of years back.
And that's pretty much what the job was. It entailed freight. Well, it ended up just being freight, but then they were like, well, you're cordial and you're sociable with customers. And people started asking me questions about, hey, you're a guy. Do you like this scent? Do you think this would smell good? Like, you think that my husband would like this scent on me? Or do you think that would be an attractive smell for a date or whatever? So I started getting all those kinds of questions and stuff. But I guess after that, fast food stuff here and there. But then my first, like, big boy real job that I would consider as like a, hey, this is doing an honest day's work for an honest day's wage.
Full-time, 40 hours a week.
Yeah. Well, I had full-time 40 hours a week at all the fast food jobs. I made good money in fast food. I'm not going to lie. I made better money than most because I worked with high school kids, and I was in my 20s when I was doing fast food. So when they were cutting people and sending people home, I never got sent home because I was the only guy that could be there till 5 a.m. to close the store.
Nice.
So I'm there till 5 a.m. every night while the teenagers go home at 10 o'clock kind of thing, which I didn't care because I got all the hours. I would get 60, 70, 80 hours. You know what I mean? I'd get tons of hours.
Yeah, and I'm guessing your son wasn't around at the time, so you could just
no, he was. He was around then. I had my son when I was 20, so he was around at the time.
Yeah.
But so my first big boy job was manufacturing Snickers. I used to wrap them. I used to run machines that wrap the candy and put the candy in the cartons and stuff like that.
For real?
Yeah, and then I moved up from there, and I actually used to run the equipment that cooked the Snickers. So
Nice.
I know the entire process of a Snicker from its raw material all the way to the finished, wrapped, cartoned, cased on the back of the truck, ready to drive out the building.
So can
process.
you verify that Snickers does in fact satisfy?
I cannot confirm or deny based on an NDA.
My first job was my first official job. Actually, I think my first job period. So around 15, 16, I'm getting that age where, I'm still asking my parents for money to buy stuff, but I'm getting to the point where they're kind of sick of doing that. when
Because things are getting more expensive now.
expensive.
Like the older you get, the more expensive your wants and needs and
Yeah.
desires get. Yeah, for sure.
and I was physically able. There's no reason
There's
I
no excuse.
can't go get
Yeah.
a job. And we weren't poor, but we weren't like mega rich. We
Yeah,
were,
yeah.
We were
And
doing
it's a good lesson
fine-
though.
yeah,
It's a
fine
good.
middle
It's a
class,
good like. It's terrible that we live in a society where it's a good lesson for a teenager to go out and get a job,
Yeah.
like, and have to go work to get stuff. It's like it's a. I think it's a not a good thing that we like force adulthood on teenagers,
Yeah.
even though that the concept of children as we see them didn't like come about to the Victorian era.
Yeah.
Before, kids were just a number of people in your home that could go out and earn money.
Yeah, go in the mines
Yeah.
and go in the factories.
Go in the
too.
mines and the
Yeah.
factories and stuff too. But before that was during the Victorian era that the childhood became the childhood kind of thing. But so what was your
They made me I kept telling them I'm applying at places. I was applying places I thought I would like,
mhm.
mainly Barnes and Noble or in Target, but they never wanted
Yeah.
me. Still don't want me, mind you, which really it sucks.
Yeah.
And so one day they got fed up. It's like, no, get in the car. We're going to drive to all these places, and you're going to ask for the resume. They really made me do this. They made me. One was a yogurt place. Another was like a Italian restaurant.
yeah.
Just a bunch of places until finally we landed on this place called Russo's New York Pizzeria.
Okay.
It's a chain. I think it's still a chain in Houston.
Okay. Yeah.
There was one. I don't remember the damn street name, but it was they were hiring for a dishwashing thing. I just walked in. It's like, hey, are you guys hiring for anybody? Any positions? Do you have an application I can fill out? Just go and ask for applications.
Yeah.
And they said, we don't really have one. And this is what I kind of should have, looking hindsight, I would never do this again. But they said, we don't have an application. But, if you want to just write your name and phone number
Yeah.
for a dishwasher thing, we'll call you if we want you.
Did they call you?
Yeah, they called me like 2-3 days later.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
there you
which
go.
really sucked because I was just enjoying myself that night. I was just like, oh, yeah, I'm just playing video games. I was
And they're like, oh, you can come now.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you want to come over now? And I was like, hold on. And then what I should have done, I should have not told my parents.
Yeah, you
that.
should have said, oh, no, we'll do it tomorrow.
They
Yeah,
never,
I'll come
they
tomorrow.
never,
yeah.
I told them they never called me, but I told them
yeah.
they called me, and they're like, well, you're going. It's like,
Oh, dang.
fuck, okay. And it wasn't bad. I just the dishwashers every couple of nights. One thing I regret is this is one of my first time being called in. It was like on a Wednesday. I worked there for only like 3-4 months. After that, after a while, I got, because my skin started peeling and not necessarily bleeding, but having open cuts just because the soap was so powerful, and the gloves they gave me were never the best.
They were never the best, and
Yeah,
the
they
mixture
were
was never
okay, but
right
yeah.
for the water because generally the
Also,
mixture you're supposed to
their
use would
actual
never hurt your
dishwasher
hands.
machine didn't work,
Oh,
so everything was by hand.
Oof.
Well, again, it's not the worst conditions.
Not the worst conditions, but
again, my
yeah.
hands were always hurting.
Yeah,
It sucked.
and
They
you're
healed
only a
after a while.
teenager anyway, so screw it, right?
And then was there for a few months. It was all right. I would bike to work, or after I got my permit, they let me drive
Yeah.
there.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was good money. It wasn't the best, but in hindsight, it was
Yeah,
great.
for a teenager, it was
Yeah,
good money, I'm sure. Yeah.
It's like, oh, I can actually go. Buy
Any money
comics
I
now.
made when I was a teenager was good money. It didn't
Yeah.
matter if it was $20 or $100. It was all good to me.
Yeah, and then left there after a few months just because I was getting sick of my arms.
Yeah.
And then I worked for a couple movie theaters through the rest of my junior year, and then everything else since then. But I was gonna say about the first time being called in. It was on a Wednesday. I was at school. I was just because I was working specifically weekends and like Thursday, Fridays,
Yeah.
which I didn't appreciate. The funny thing was, when I'm freshman and sophomore, because this was my junior year, I didn't appreciate my weekends.
Yeah.
I really have anything to do. I missed
the weekends.
I
Yeah,
missed the
yeah.
weekends very soon. I was like, damn, like
Work every
these guys
weekend.
are having a party. Or there's a football game. I wanted to go. Everyone goes to the football games.
Yeah.
Now I need you to work. It's like, oh, okay. I mean, it's fine in hindsight. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
hindsight doesn't matter, yeah.
But it was
At the time, it was like the end of the world, yeah.
not even the end of the world. It was like, man, I'd rather having fun than fucking cleaning people's dishes when they don't finish their mozzarella sticks.
yeah, for
The one
sure.
benefit, and I would never do this again. I don't know why I did this. People would leave like just whole, like unfinished mozzarella sticks.
Smash on them mugs.
Hell yeah.
He'd eat
Or
the hell out of them.
whole untouched slices of pizza.
Well, I would kind of do that at Taco Bell if I accidentally messed up on somebody's order. Like, oh, well, we didn't want sour cream on that taco. Oh, okay, well, crunch. Like literally, you would take the biggest bite
'Cause you have
that
to throw them out anyway.
Yeah, you would just take the biggest bite you possibly could take, and then you would throw away whatever you could eat.
That's what happened at Domino's all those times of years. After every once in a while, someone would like either not come get their pizza, or just cancel the order.
So
and if it's done, if it's like a specialty one,
yeah.
like if it's a pepperoni, and it's like after like we didn't officially always do this, but like say we make a pepperoni pizza.
If somebody ordered a pepperoni within a certain window of time that pizza was still good to sell, you kept it. You would just expedite it out.
But after like an hour later, no one's ordered. Hell yeah, we're snacking on that.
Yeah, that's your pizza. Yeah.
It did. I mean, they weren't always the best after an hour on that heat rack, just
sitting
heat,
there. Yeah.
But it was still something.
Still something. Yeah. So what was your first like job? Like, cause like fast food is a job, but we all know in America that nobody can live off fast food. What was your first job where you were like, I can buy a car, I can buy a house, I could do this, I could do that?
I mean, Mike's already gone into specifics of what it is, but I'm not going to. But the job I have now, I got as soon as I got out of school.
Okay,
and I've been doing it ever since.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to keep doing it.
What's the official title for the job, just for those that don't know?
As of right now, it's media prep technician.
Media prep technician. Okay, that sounds great.
It's fun and all, and
you enjoy it though. I mean, is it something that you like doing?
I do like doing it.
That's good.
There's a reason I'm also doing this.
Yeah. Love what you do, because if you don't, then you end up
hating life.
32 and you quit your job at the factory, and then you're just out here trying to figure out what the hell you want to do.
Yeah, but you get to drive everywhere. That's fun stuff.
Yeah, it's fun. It's not bad. I like what I do now. I mean, it's not a sustainable career. It's not something that's going to carry me for life. But for right now, hell yeah. I mean, it's decent money. It's not bad money at all. I deliver wine. I work for a wine distribution center here in town, so it's not bad. I get to go to every major city in Texas every day pretty much.
Hell yeah. There's one job I had while I was still in school that I did part-time until I got another job that I was like more in my like eventual job field.
Yeah.
I did for about two months. I was an overnight clerk for the school hotel.
Oh,
so I went
cool.
to school at Sam Houston State.
Yeah.
Eating Up Cats and
Eat 'em Up Cats.
They had a hotel.
Shout out to I have some friends I went to high school with that hold records at Sam Houston State.
Hell yeah.
They hold records in their position. There's a cornerback, Daxton Swanson. Shout out to him. He holds records at Sam Houston for his position. Yeah, no,
nice. Shout out to shout out to Shelby and Diamond, because I worked with them, and we also went to Sam. But I worked they have a hotel there that's like part of one of the main buildings, and I worked there overnights for a few months. It was like just something to do during winter break, so I could still make money, because I was still paying rent. I was staying at a house with some friends that were paying. We still had to pay rent. Even it's not like a dorm where you still got like
it's a rent payment. Yeah.
So I worked there overnights. It was like midnight to I think it was like 10 to 7 a.m. Something like that.
Yeah, one of those.
It wasn't
weird
awful,
shifts.
but it was nice. The only weird part was I don't know why I got scared sometimes walking there at night.
Yeah,
I walked every day. It's just there was one corner from my house where it's just like dark.
Sam Houston's in Huntsville, right?
Yeah, it's Huntsville. And
there's a
decent
big prison there, so I would be.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people breaking out of jail over there.
Yeah, but I mean, I hate saying this. I don't think I'd ever be anywhere in anyone's target demographic if they get out of prison.
Yeah.
But I might take that out. But the fun part was, they had a TV in the lobby, and all I really had to do was just check people out when they left, when they wanted to be checked out.
Yeah.
And set up reserve rooms when they called. Other than that, I think bring out a lunch tray. And also just like do rounds, just make sure everything was like locked and stuff.
Yeah.
For the most part, I was just sitting there just in case something happened.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And when I was there, nothing happened, thankfully. So most of the time, I was just watching. I was either reading manga on the computer, because I had the computer.
Yeah.
Or
just watching TV.
If it was on a Saturday night, I would just switch it over to Cartoon Network and just watch
Toonami.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It was solid.
That's
for
a good
month
job.
and a half.
Yeah, that's a good job. All right, well, I think that's all we've got. You want to do Mike's little announcement about Hotel Arlen for him?
Yeah, if you could, please follow the Hotel Arlen Twitter page. They are at 87 followers. Let's get them higher. Please follow Hotel Arlen at Twitter. That's at Hotel Arlen. No spaces.
We'll monitor that as time goes on. This has been a special episode of Bwaaa, KOTH, with Mason and Rusty. Thank you for listening, and good night.
Bwaaa.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.